Welcome to Mama Needs a Moment, and welcome to our incredible HER Plus expert providers for another roundtable conversation. This month, we're diving into a topic that so many moms are navigating. It comes up all the time: parenting tweens and teens. New challenges, new strategies, because they are needed at this stage. As our children grow, so does the complexity of parenting. The tween and teen years bring emotional, physical, social, and developmental changes that can leave even the most confident parents wondering if they're doing enough or if they're doing it right. Today, we're going to explore how moms can stay connected while encouraging healthy independence, which is always the goal. We'll talk about communication, puberty, emotional health, executive functioning, boundaries, and the everyday struggles that help families navigate this season with more confidence and less conflict. Before we jump in, we're going to have each of our experts briefly introduce themselves and share the unique perspective that they're bringing to today's conversation. And if you enjoy today's discussion, remember that every roundtable episode is also available in video format on our YouTube channel. Let's go ahead and kick it off with Gigi.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Gigi Miller. I'm a certified neurodiversity coach, and I help teens and adults mainly with executive functioning. A lot of my clients also have ADHD, depression and anxiety. And I love this topic because executive functioning skills are still developing way into their 20s of kids. So parents sort of see different changes and they're wondering what's going on. And so I think it'll be interesting perspective from that point of view. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brittany Winslow. I am a pediatric occupational therapist by training, and I'm the CEO and owner of Emerge Pediatric Therapy here in the Triangle. I personally spend a lot of my time these days from the perspective of helping families, kids, whole family systems understand sensory processing, executive function, co-regulation, which I think is going to be a big topic today. There's a lot of co-regulation that we still have to do with our tweens and teens. And I think what probably makes me even more excited about this conversation is I am the mom of 3 girls, and 2 of them are in the tween teen stage right now. So a lot of my work over the last 6 months or so has also been focused on understanding how that shows up in girls with ADHD and how puberty impacts that as well, because there's just not enough research on it. So I'm excited about this conversation today, and from here hearing about everyone else's perspectives as well.
I'm Jill Triana. I'm a licensed clinical mental health counselor with nearly 25 years of experience, which seems so odd to say. I'm also the founder of Centerline Counseling, where I specialize in working with high-achieving, resourceful, high-capacity women who are anxious and stressed, overwhelmed, burned out. I'm so excited to be here today because I've spent my entire career working almost exclusively with tweens, teen girls, college and young adult women and their families, namely their moms. So this is right up my alley. I also work with women who are managing multiple roles, going through a variety of life transitions, and just struggling to balance it all. I work with a lot of moms, though, as they navigate overwhelm and anxiety that goes along with parenting through the teen years. And one thing that I've learned is that parents don't lose influence during the teen years, but they often do lose confidence. And so my work surrounds helping moms understand what's happening developmentally, neurobiologically, so that they can stop second guessing themselves and strengthen their relationship with their child and parent from a place of confidence instead of worry and fear. So I'm excited to have this conversation today.
I'm Cassandra Pickett. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and mental health coach for women, working on boundaries and overfunctioning so women feel like they're living in alignment with their core value system. And I think the perspective I'm excited to get to chat with all of you experts on today is I've been a marriage and family therapist for 16, 17 years, but my oldest son is 12. So I have a 12-year-old boy and a 10-year-old boy. So I get to kind of live the textbook life and work with clients, and then I get to walk the plank and be like, oh, okay, I see. That's really hard. Or this didn't work the way we thought it did. And I just have really enjoyed and not enjoyed being in that space in my personal life. So I'm excited to learn and chat, and I think it'll be fun.
One of the hardest parts of parenting older kids is figuring out how to stay connected while giving them that independence that they so desperately crave. And as we learned in our last episode, that they need that independence. We still have this inner innate desire to protect them, guide them, be involved in every phase of their life because they're still our baby, even if they won't admit it, they're our babies. So we don't want to hover. We don't want to damage the relationship by trying to control every decision they make. But as parents, we have to be there and we want to remain an important influence in our child's life without trying to manage every single moment. It's so hard to balance. So as our children grow more independent, what does healthy connection actually look like in this stage? In this season of life? And how can parents remain a safe place? In our last episode, Cassandra mentioned a houseplant. How can parents, moms, how can we remain a houseplant for our family, for our children, while still allowing them to grow?
This is one of my favorite things to talk about with families. And this is the best way I've been able to explain it for myself or for somebody else. You know, when your kid, like your toddler, outgrows their books, you've built this beautiful bookcase for them. You have all these books, you're reading them all night. Some have the like finger puppet hole and the flip books. And then one day you're like, oh my gosh, the bookshelf is too young. I need to get new books. And then they go to school and you're like, oh my gosh, everything's graphic novels. They need chapter books. And you upgrade the bookshelf. That's the best way I can think of to help me and other people understand what has to happen to our parenting skills and connection. So when you have that fear where you're like, oh no, this isn't working, I'm not connected, really stop and be like, are the books interesting? Are these developmentally appropriate? Like what needs to add in? Let's keep this shelf, but we really need to up the chapter books. Or if you think of it the same way, it feels a lot less scary to me that they've just outgrown these books or skills that were really important at the time, and it's time to supplement with some new stuff. That always helps it feel less catastrophic to me, where I'm like, all this stuff I was doing for all these years isn't working anymore. What's wrong? I need to do this whole new boot camp on my kids and my family to stop and be like, okay, what's not working? What can I add in? What still, can tide over, and implementing it that way, I think is so, so helpful.
I often talk with families about this as your role is shifting from being the day-to-day manager to a consultant or trusted guide or even a coach. And that's a process. It's not going to happen overnight, and you're going to stumble and make mistakes because just as they are stumbling and making mistakes as they navigate individuation and gaining more independence, your role is shifting too. And so just making room for the discomfort that comes along with that as a parent, that as you're changing out the books and making sure that they're more developmentally appropriate, that it can both feel like grief to parents. It can feel really sad and hard. It can be overwhelming and stressful. And so this idea of really attuning to what's going on for you at the same, which is so counterintuitive, I think, sometimes for parents, because especially as women, because we're nurturers and we're focused on making sure everyone else, especially our kids, are okay. And it may be uncomfortable to turn that focus inward, to focus on what's going on for you. But it's not, as we said before, this is all normal and it is hard. But yeah, sort of that idea of being more of a consultant or guide rather than like a manager. Consultants influence instead of control.
Yeah, I want to build on that and that kind of more looking inward part. I feel like from a personal story of how I've navigated this as my kids have gotten older, I felt like as my kids were getting older, I really needed to it felt really forceful to try to find the ways to connect and how do we do things together, where we used to just, would carve out the time with all the kids to do like play-based things or whatever it was. And I'm in a season of life right now where I'm also trying to focus on, I feel like particularly raising girls, it's important for me to make visible some of the things that I do to take care of myself. So whether that's working out or going for a walk or, like taking some time to organize a space and make it less cluttered, whatever that is, I've realized instead of forcing it, if I'm modeling those things and then invite them in, those have been the moments that we found a lot of really authentic connection. So now these days it looks like my almost 13-year-old is going to the gym with me and we're doing that time together. And so that's been a great way that we've kind of linked up on something that I didn't force. It just happened naturally. Whereas my middle daughter is now wanting to do a lot more of like the organizing projects with me. And so things that I feel like when the kids were younger, I would have never it would have been such a burden to like take the kid to the gym or like have them around when I'm trying to organize the art closet or whatever it is. Now I'm finding ways by modeling what I need, they are kind of coming inward and joining me in those spaces. And it's just been a really nice development. So I think the like teaching moment on this might even be try not to force it so much. And I think try to find what works well for you and what you're interested in and find some of those natural opportunities to connect in just a different way than you would have possibly expected.
I love that you said that, Brittany, and I find that true in all the work I've done at home or with clients, that 100% more is caught than taught. So you doing that and letting them join you, I agree. It's going to be so much more powerful than anything you try to verbalize or influence through teaching.
The word that comes up when everyone's talking about this is collaborative. And I tell, clients, your role as a parent is shifting as well. And you're learning and, how important it is to stay curious, to be collaborative, to be supportive. And then you're gradually less involved, which builds up independence and confidence. They know you're there, but you're giving them space to grow.
Something that an expert had recommended and I took advantage of was actually doing the quiz of the 5 love languages with my teens. And it was very, very eye-opening to see what the results were. And now that I look at it, it's pretty spot on that my oldest likes physical touch. She'll come down in the morning. She comes over. She wants her hug in the morning. And our youngest is not as much of a touch person, but she really likes to spend time with you and have that quality time. So when Brittany, you were talking about your daughter going to the gym, like perhaps her time is quality time to be with you. It was just a very eye-opening experience to do that. A lot was taken from that episode. I've really enjoyed listening to some of the things that came out, evaluating what's not working and how to change it up. Gigi, you talked about the big word being collaborative. And I think that was a great way to sum up this episode is by saying that it's collaborative. It's an effort between parent and child. It takes time. It's uncomfortable for all and it's hard and normal, but just to remember to be the consultant and the guide, influence them rather than control them. So thank you for that. And in our next episode, we will be diving into a little bit more deeper on what is actually driving their behavior.